Yeah, able to see screen?
Yeah, screen is visible.
Okay. Okay. Uh, People, next topics are IoT cloud platforms. Quickly, just few minutes I'll take to uh, give a brief introduction, like what platforms are available and what is IoT cloud platform. What is IoT? Anyone? I know it's a few-year-old technology, but still it's booming, still growing technology. IoT, Internet of Things. Anyone wants to take a guess?
People can answer yes, right? Rohit Japur. Answer right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. IoT is actually establishing your network between many sensors
Mm-hmm.
and using them for some application.
Yeah, yeah, correct. So basically, Internet of Things, things meaning in the other Rohit's definition, he used the censored word sensor. So things can be anything, sensor, or it can be any other devices also that can uh, send the data. Okay, and all these data will be each devices will talk to with each other through the with this data with this internet. Sorry, not they'll talk to each other with through internet. So IoT is nothing but a collection of things who can speak to each other through the internet. Okay, so yeah, of course you can build an application out of it when they are discussing when they are interacting with each other. Okay, so how can we achieve IoT? IoT can be achieved with the basically whatever we discussed till now. So there can be a service somewhere, servers, put an application in there which keeps collecting the data, and there can be many sensors here in your field which keeps sending the data to the service. So it's like, and they can even interact with each other also through these cloud service. Okay, so with these cloud platforms where we put the services, and then the many things, so many sensors are there, many other devices which can talk to each other. So in this way we can achieve these IoT. So can we do this for any type of application? I know many branches are there here, so it can be used in many uh, different types of application. Like you can use different technologies. It not not banded with a certain technology or a certain programming language or certain tools. So you need to have a dependency environment. That's it. It can run on the cloud service. So now today I'll be showing Java. It doesn't mean that you can't develop it in Python and put it in the cloud services. So or Python or C program or any other scripts, any languages you can use. Okay. Does this lead to ML? ML meaning machine learning. So okay. So machine learning, for machine learning, it's a stepping stone. Okay. So once you are able to collect the data and you can hold the data and you can make sense out of it, that's what machine learning is. And if you can take a decision out of this data, it becomes an artificial intelligence. If an application you have written which takes certain decisions based on this data, it's a very simple, I can say, artificial intelligence you can create. Okay, it doesn't have to be a very big some chat box or something. Even as small as you can take, like an application can take certain decision based on the data collected by through IoT. It becomes an artificial intelligence. So IoT is a stepping stone for all these technologies. So there are any vendors who provide these IoT cloud platforms. Many are there, like we discussed already. All those providers, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Red Hat, VMware, how many are there? Okay. So one of which uh, is the Google Cloud's IoT platform. Okay. This platform is basically very useful when you are doing an end-to-end IoT solutions. Okay. It's not just when I say IoT, very basic one, it collects some data from some place to some place. Okay, some machine to some devices to the cloud services. But you need to act on top of it, or you want to perform some activities, and you need a lot of uh, what you can say. Lot of various dependent libraries that you want to perform certain actions on it. So all these are end-to-end IoT solutions. Okay. So it helps also helps in easily connecting, storing, and managing the IoT data. So like I said before, REST API, Google's cloud platform, it supports the REST API, REST services. So you can connect it. Once you connect it, Google provides you a storage also to store the data and manage it. It provides a huge data storage also. Like until few days back, it used to give unlimited storage. Google. Now it is a paid service, of course, but it still can provide you the huge data storage. Okay, and it basically cuts the cost for server maintenance. It's the same thing what we have discussed till now. So even Google Cloud platform also allows you to cut the cost for the server maintenance. Yeah, and of course, security is the prime and main important for these cloud technologies, because if your data is being hacked or leaked, okay, many places, if you see cloud technologies, you have many of you might be having bank applications. Okay, so these bank bank apps in your mobile, if if someone can hack that data, you just imagine all your money is gone. Okay, or even your information is very important. Okay, so security is the very important thing here. Okay, and here they also say it's intelligent in the sense you can perform certain activities, or Google provides some services, for example MQTT service. Okay, so when I say intelligent, it just means that the data that it collected, it took a decision to send it to some other device or some other person who has already subscribed to it. Even that is also an intelligence. See, okay, so the Google has given that sort of many intelligence services. Okay, and the responsive IoT data. So you can, I think even Dr. Sureka was telling about this, that ThingSpeak. So ThingSpeak also gives a very responsive IoT data, meaning the data that is collected or the incoming traffic, it all gives it in a particular way. It represents it in a certain way, a graph you can say. So you can make a prediction on top of it. So such responsive data is even provided by the Google's cloud platform. Okay, and anyway, Google don't have to tell about efficiency and scalable. So they're quite efficient platform, and scalable. The more and more the users uh, grow for your application that you have done, you can definitely scale up the resources. Okay, and analyze big data. Uh, the data, when it is a very small chunk of data, so of course it is easy, but when it becomes grows in TBs and all, so it needs a special kind of management or a technology that can handle this big data. So that's where even Google Cloud Platform provides you that facility also. Okay, of course, pros and cons come with everything. So pros is like fast input and output, lesser access time. Yeah, both are same, fast input and output, or lesser access time. And then it provides the integration with other Google services. Okay, so based on the data you have acquired, suppose you have sent some data to the Google's cloud platform. Now you want to send it that data to a certain mail. So Gmail is there. Okay, yeah, I am giving you one some example, so you can proceed. You can go ahead with exploring various other Google services. Okay, cons. Most of the components are Google components. So yeah, you if you like some other component of AWS or some other components, so you can't mix and match. Okay, so once you have subscribed to Google's cloud, so only Google's component only you can use. That is one cons of it. And it supports limited programming technologies. When it says that, it doesn't mean that some hardly one or two are there. It has a certain number of programming technology that it supports. Okay. Yeah, Google and then the AWS IoT platform. Yeah, pretty much it's the same thing. Even AWS IoT platform is a paid version only. Any? Okay, I thought posted. Yeah. So AWS IoT platform, this is also being extensively used, and they provide Edgebox. Edgebox is nothing but a small box which can where you can uh, put a Docker platform and use it as services also. So apart from the AWS cloud platforms, it even gives an Edgebox also. So it makes it easy to collect data from the sensors and internet connected devices. Okay, so it's here also the REST service is supported. So all the data that you collect from the sensors or internet connected devices, so you can easily send to this cloud platform. It's easy to interact with your device even when they are offline. It's like say MQTT, it also provides an offline messaging protocol. So where you can mention the device address and offline message will go. So yeah, it has its own way to do it. We have to adhere to the rules that it mentions. Okay. Device management. Okay, of course, each device that you connect to AWS platform, it manages it. How it manages is, you should first of all, the device should register itself with the AWS platform. Okay, once it is able to register, then you can perform various activities like what then it will allow that device to use the services that AWS gives it. Okay, and secure gateway for devices. Okay, if you see from the AWS outside perspective, internally we'll have some 10 applications, but the URL it will give only one, that is called as API gateway service. Okay, just I think I can take the paint. Yeah, if you see here, Let's assume this is a AWS platform. Okay, so you are a client. So whenever you want to contact IAM service to get the token, like I was telling, so every platform gives you an security, and security meaning there is a service running to make sure that only authenticated service devices can contact the AWS platform and use the functionalities. So now suppose the first thing any client will do is to contact the IAM service, authenticate itself and get a token. Token is a like a ticket it is. So yeah, okay. So now client can never contact directly IAM. Okay. It always contacts the API gateway service. API gateway service will contact the IAM. IAM will return the token, and then this will give the response. Okay. Now once it gets the token also, so after getting the token, it wants to interact with my application to get some data or to provide some data. For that also, it will contact the API gateway only. API gateway will contact the my app and it will return. Now, why such thing? Why not it? Why can't it directly call it? Two reasons. What I could say. First thing, underneath AWS platform, why the user should know all these services, what he's doing. Not required. You don't want to expose all the services that you have internally. Okay. You don't have to, like, let's suppose my application is this platform service is not used by outsiders. It should be used only by the inside my application, inside the platform. So he platform service, it should, because platform service can start off from the AWS platform. It's a secured way of also. Okay, this is one reason. Second reason is now the client has a needs to, it can contact several services in the AWS platform. It should not be holding all the addresses of all the services. That is wrong, right? Client should not be burdened with maintaining all these services address. For him, there should be only one point of contact person. Let him take care of routing these things. And it also gives an abstraction to possible advantages we could see. Okay. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. After this, authentication and encryption, just now I showed, right? Authentication, one of the ways, the IAM service. Okay. So IAM service gives you an authentication way. Even the data that you send and get it will be an encrypted one only. So pros, a good integration with the IaaS. It's yeah, infrastructure service, infrastructure as a service it provides. So you can, it's like I have used the AWS platform, so it's quite an easy to interact. Okay, I'm telling in the way of interacting, and it's also cost effective. So provided what is effective, cost effective, like for an individual user it's still an costly thing, but for a organization it's still cost effective because they earn a chunk of money out of it, so they can afford it. Cons is a big learning curve for AWS. If you see AWS site, if you start reading, there is a hell lot of data or services are there. It gives a huge amount of services, but again, you have to learn all of them. So the learning curve is very big. Of course, if you learn it, it's a pro for you, but learning is a big thing. And three outages in last few years, whenever such cloud platforms are down, it's a big loss for the customers or clients, you can say. That is one issue with the AWS. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Hello.
No, sir. So can
Oh.
you just suggest which all means course or things we can do to learn cloud computing?
Which all course?
Yeah.
Uh, See, if you go to YouTube tutorials also, as free as it is possible, even Google search also you can do. So AWS is one thing that you can master it. AWS, Amazon's YouTube tutorials are only there. Okay, and even AWS site is also there. At least for learning, if not cloud access is on trial basis, you can still take it. Trial period is there. Okay, you can go and learn AWS. AWS certification is also you can do. And Google's cloud, I'm not completely aware. I'm mostly working on the AWS. So AWS certification, you definitely can do. I started learning AWS from the AWS website only, and also on the from the YouTube. So there you can go and explore a few more things. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and also AWS certification, as far as I hear, the industry currently is looking for experts in AWS. So any certification you can do, it's a plus point for you people. Okay. Okay. I'll just create a small application. Yeah. Basically, whenever I want to create a new project, I usually come here and do. So let's say com VMS college. So cloud demo. Okay. I want to use a normal Java 8 application. Okay, I'm just creating one Java application, simple one. Okay, I don't want to do people to put lot of thought about this, because you people can go for any other technologies. My only aim is the only aim here would be that if you write your own application, how to upload it to the cloud service and how to access it. Okay. So I am using Spring Web. Okay. Yeah, pretty much very simple application I'll create. gives me a zip file. I use STS editor. You people can do work with what you feel comfortable. Okay. So we'll go for existing Maven project. So if you see my POM file, the web application which I wanted as a dependency, it added it here. So this is my dependency, so that I can interact from my laptop to the cloud service. Okay, this is important for me. Now, once this is done, I think most of you people might be comfortable with the C program, right? Any yes, no, or any other languages also?
C and Java.
Okay. Java is also very simple. Only thing is it works on the OOPS concept. Okay. So you people don't go in depth in the Java code. You just understand whatever we are trying. Okay. Like C program, there is a main method. Main method just suggests that okay, start the. I have written a simple application to run. Okay, Spring application to run. Okay. Now on top of it, okay, my controller. Okay. Okay. Let's say that okay, what I'm we'll create a student application. Okay, manage student application. So instead of student, let's say industry application will use. Better that would be, so that you can interact. So I'll just say industry controller. Okay. One minute, please. Change the. Okay. You guys already know, right? REST services I explained. So whenever REST service you want to do, an API is being called. So here is the main place where I will tell, okay, it should be my controller, the main class which controls all the incoming request. So this is the guy. So this guy, I have told him that this class should be my controller, REST controller. Basically, all my REST APIs will come here. Okay. And I want to create a simple application. Say, first I want to put some data, right? Post controller. So for creation, what do we use? HTTP method, post. Okay. Post mapping. Okay. Laptop is new. Little bit difficult to get used to this keyboard. Create alarm. Okay. I need to have first I make it as a white and later I will fill up. Okay, create new. Okay, so now what it will do, now I need to know what is the alarm, what all data someone can send to create an alarm. Okay, I'll create a simple model for it. Alarm can have name of it, alarm name. What else it can have? It can have status. Alarm can be on or off. Let's say like that. Okay. I'm just creating a random application. Okay, I'm not thinking much about it now. Uh, okay, alarm status. Okay. Now here I can make alarm model. Now, definitely, if it is a post mapping, someone can send me a data also. So I need to hold that data, and then what I can do, I can consume it, store it. One minute, please. I can store it and then use it for some other purpose. I can do some functionality on top of it. Correct, guys? Guys, stop me wherever you feel you're not understanding. Okay. Now, how will I accept the data? I will accept it as consume the data as application in JSON format. Okay, guys, it's just a format. Okay, no need to think much about it. So consumes, I think. Yeah. Okay. And how will I reply? I will reply also in the application JSON format only. Okay, guys. And now once this is there, okay, now I need to accept it also, right? So I will say request body. I think I will have request body. Yeah, request body is there. So what will I be accepting? Anyone? Okay, it's alarm model only. I need to okay. Now what can I do? I'll just store it. Okay. Because I want it to be okay. let's say this be wide only. Okay, I will not reply anything apart from should be better. Yeah, and just differentiate this one, request and send. Okay. Now I just wrote a sample application. First I will test it locally. If it works well, then I'll put it into the cloud. Okay, so you see guys, this application is running in the local machine. So I will say HTTP colon / localhost and port is 8080. So instead of slash, what I have used here, create alarm. Okay, body is alarm name. Alarm status, right? Okay, let's see if it works. Yeah. See, I have already told. Have I only told accept? No, I have told even this one also. Produces. Okay, so content type. 200 response it gave. Now if you see 123, some alarm name it is printing. So it means it is taking whatever data I'm sending. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Now I need to get it back also, right? Once I put it over there. Public string. Okay. get alarm status. Okay, guys. So I have to return it also. So returning, what are the parameters? Okay, since it is a string, it is not taking. Okay, boolean to string we can make. How to make? Any idea, guys? Guys, any idea? I'm just checking boolean to string. How do we convert? Yeah. Push. Need to tell get alarm status. Correct? Just a simple thing. There's no complex thing here. Okay. It got created. Now another one, I will put the same thing. Instead of create alarm, should we get alarm, right? I want request body. It's a get call. Is it get alarm? Alarm status. See, if you see get alarm 404 it gave because this is not there only. Okay. See, it gave false. Now let's make this as true. Okay, at least a simple data where I'm pushing some data to the cloud and I will get it back. Okay, simple thing, not not at all this is a complex thing. Okay, now if you see, if someone wants to do it parallelly, they can try this. Okay, Heroku is one cloud application platform. Yeah, since I have already a account created, I am directly logging in, but you can sign up. Okay, I cancel. Shall I be still be able to log in? Yeah, I'll still be able to. Okay, so once you sign up and log in here, it gives you, you can create your own project. Okay, new application. You can name it as something TMS Cloud. Okay, currently it provides only 2 regions. Okay, let's assume that we are in United States. Okay, now once you create it, now your application itself has to be somewhere, right? So how can I load it? Okay, there are many possible ways also. One is Hero2 provides a Git, another one is the most common, GitHub, and a container registry. Okay, container registry is again provided by the Heroku itself. Okay, now what I will do, I'll push my this one to better to GitHub. Okay, so I'll go to GitHub. I forgot my password, I think. Yeah. Okay. One minute, guys. I'm just seeing my. Since I think I logged in wrong, gave wrong password, it didn't allow me. Okay, I'll just create a new repo saying this industry. Okay, I'll keep it as public. Okay. Okay, so now I have created my new application. It's working also. So what I'll do, I'll just I can download from here also. Okay, it's very simple. I will just put my complete code into the GitHub, okay, and did a commit. It's just a drag and drop, okay. Now the code is there in the GitHub now. Now I want to access this. In the Heroku, I want to deploy the package, correct? Now deploying is very simple, okay. What is the repo name? BMS industry, right? Oh, it gives me an option here, okay. So BMS industry, I'll just put a connect, enable automatic deploys, and deploy the branch. Okay, now if you see here, you can see the console only. So it is downloading all my code and all the dependent services also. Like I had used one library. So along with that, whatever is required, it downloads everything. Okay, now it is success. Okay, it's still deploying. Okay. Yeah, now it is ready. Okay. Now this should give me an error. Okay, it is giving me an error because there is nothing I have kept in the at this level. There is nothing here, correct? Instead, now I will create an apply. I hope this works. Okay. Now this time I will give a proper name. Okay. Alarm name is Mercury. Okay. As of now, nothing problem happened. Yeah, it accepted. Okay. Now the same thing somewhere in the client side. Okay. The postman is now acting as a two clients. Okay. So don't think that, okay, in the same laptop I'm doing everything. Think of it as from the application point of view. Okay. So there is one application in your industry who is sending on the alarm name and alarm status. And there is one more guy who is sitting in another part. Okay. And he's trying to get the alarm status. Okay. And okay, since it is a get call, no need. Okay. Now it's false. So I'll make it as a true. If I again call it, it shows me true. Okay. So now now if you see, Heroku is a cloud platform. Okay. I deployed it here. It's if you go to AWS or Google Cloud or any other different cloud platforms, they all have their own way of deploying the branch, deploying that services. Okay. So here it is like this. So if you go to Red Hat's OpenShift platform, I'm not sure if it is still available. There it creates a Docker image of it and runs it as a container in the cloud. And from there I will be able to access it. Okay. So here also it runs it as an service, jar service. Okay. Now what I did here, I didn't have to run JRE in the cloud platform. Now, similarly, even if I in the GitHub, if I put a C program or a C++ program, C program, I don't know if REST service is supported or not, but definitely C++ at least supports, and Python supports. There are a few. Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. So what I was telling, yeah, Heroku. I didn't have to deploy any of the services, nothing. So what I all did was I put my application, I tested it locally, I put it into the GitHub, and from the Heroku, I just extracted it and I said deploy the branch. Okay, even it gives you the branches also. So currently I have only main branch, but I can create the versions of it, like update the software and again push it and again get it. Okay, so the intention was here that don't look at the code. Okay, code was a mess. Okay, so but what all I wanted was like you create a tomorrow you have your own college projects. Okay, so if you think of deploying it, this is one of the way. Okay, there are many other ways. Okay, ThinkSpeak is another cloud platform which allows you, it's a free of cost and it gives you many other options also. So even this also provides you few options. You can try out all those things. Okay, here also even metrics is there. You can understand the metrics part, activities, deploy. Okay, and what are the other options? You can always explore. Okay, this is not the best one, I would say, but the most easiest one. Okay, since I was told that many other branches will be there, people will be coming, so I wanted to show the easiest one to deploy your own service and test it. Okay, so I would say even at least when you go back, I would at least say uh, create an hello world program and put it and see if you are able to at least hello world comes over here. Even that would be a best part to start, I would say. Okay, so I didn't do any complex things, just don't wanted to make anything complex over here. Okay,
Rohit, can you just summarize what and all you have done till now?
yeah, from beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys see, so today's agenda at least was that end of this webinar, one should be able to access, deploy their application. So you create any project, put it in GitHub, and at least this much we will be able to do. You will be able to do. It's very simple. Okay, we understood what is virtualization. Virtualization is nothing but you having a virtual version of some application, some software, or virtual version of some what I can say, infrastructure that is given to you. It can be given in many other places, like I said, software or a infrastructure or a platform. Okay, and one more thing, Heroku is a platform as a service cloud platform. Okay, like Amazon or ThinkSpeak or AWS. Okay, same way. So virtualization we went through. We understood how virtualization is done. What is hypervisor? Okay, or types of hypervisors, how it will help us, and then we saw Docker and how Docker has sprouted itself up from the uh, virtualization. Apart from Docker, there is Kubernetes also. The people can go definitely go and explore Kubernetes. K3s. Kubernetes is again from the Google organization. Okay, Docker itself, it's an organization. Uh, yeah, and I will share this PPT also. At least some reference will be there. Okay, there are some Docker commands you can go through, and definitely cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Put a service somewhere in the cloud, access it, push data or get data from it. That's all. Cloud computing is very simple. Okay, don't complex it. Of course, your application can make it complex, but this is quite a simple thing. Okay, and working models like this one was a public cloud. I didn't make it as a private cloud. Anyone can access it now. Okay, there are different service models: SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Software as a service. Examples for software as a service: Facebook, Twitter, anything, that sort of things. Okay, uh, platform as a service, I think Heroku just now we saw, that is one of the example. Infrastructure as a service, I think AWS, what I can say, there is a, oh, what was it, I forgot the name. I think I had mentioned it here, right? Let's see. Yeah, AWS itself, DigitalOcean, Microsoft Azure. Okay, and then the REST call. See, if you see here, okay, I had to show this one also. So Postman, from Postman you can do all the REST API calls. Okay, this is the address. Think of it as an email ID or a phone number to call this service. Okay, now after calling, what you want to do, that I am mentioning it here. Correct. I am asking him to create an alarm. The post says that, okay, create an entry, create a record with this. Get tells to get a record. I want to get to the record. Okay, we can still make it even more this one by passing it what is the name of the alarm that I want to know the status. Okay, and now let's say let's try just, I'm passing the wrong information. Okay, I think I should have validated it. Okay, let's see, instead of true TRU I will pass. Okay, if you see here, it says bad request. Okay, the data I have sent is not correct data. Okay, just remember guys, if you send some wrong data, it's a 400 bad request. It's as clear, it's very clear that what you are sending. Okay, let's say you pass correct data. Okay, this can be validated. Okay, that is part of our code. Now let's say I am passing wrong URL. This is not there, not found. It's very crisp and clear. REST APIs, this Postman service also provides you the, okay, not only the Postman, REST service are very crisp and clear. It maintains the status, response status, what it says. If the URL is wrong, it says 404. If the request body is wrong, then it gives a 400, not bad request. Okay, even it gives you the some details over here in the response body. Okay, what else? What else we saw? REST service. Yeah, HTTP methods. Two of them we used, post and get. Okay, so now next one is MQTT. Here I am calling these services. Okay, now let's assume in my Google in this laptop only I create an application and run it and expose it to outside world. Okay, now how can I expose it to outside world? I can tell the IP address of this machine. Correct, right? True. Or I can, even when I subscribe to certain sorry guys, when I subscribe to the certain topic, okay, certain broker, I need to have a client here in my laptop, MQTT client, I need to install it. That is also very simple. Okay, simple in the sense, in the POM, if you see, I had mentioned it as starter web. So similarly, there is one more dependency you have to add for MQTT client. Okay, in this way, if this application tomorrow I run, it becomes a MQTT client now. And what it does, it will be able to subscribe to certain space in the cloud service that is maintained by these MQTT brokers. MQTT brokers are who? These are the people who holds the data, and whenever someone subscribes them, they will provide it. Okay, so these nowadays MQTT brokers are called as servers, because you know that brokers really sound vague now. So they call it as MQTT servers now. Okay. Earlier it was called as brokers. Yeah. Apart from that, we learned what is IoT, Internet of Things. Now, if you see, I was pushing a data here. That Mercury status is true, alarm status true, meaning an alarm should have been sent. Instead, I sent a message. Now that in the cloud application, he can send to another application where this data, and make sure that certain activity is being done. True? Not true? Okay. Now, if you take an action out of this data, it becomes an intelligence. Okay, you have created an intelligence out of it. It's a very basic thing. I know artificial intelligence is names. It is made sound in a very big way, but as small as this is also considered to be an artificial intelligence. Okay, Google's cloud IoT, Google Cloud's IoT platform like Heroku. This is a few of the platforms. Few pros are there. They are fast. They are having less access time. You can access all the Google's services. Yeah, and AWS IoT platform is also there. This is nowadays quite a booming platform for cloud developers or cloud architects. Okay, so you can manage the devices. You can collect the data from the different devices. All making sure that it is still a secure data is maintained. Okay, then yeah, I think pretty much. So for today, I think I end with this. Any questions? Any doubts? I hope someone can create a very big application and upload to cloud and make a big chunk of deal. You can monetize it also, definitely. But to start with, I think this was the way. Yeah. Any doubts till now?
Sir,
Yeah. Not able to see who is it, but yeah, Gokul, I think. Yeah.
yeah, sir. By Heroku, so we can use the app online. Like,
Yeah, sure. It was one of the way, like I told. You can use any other cloud platforms.
and sir, one more question, sir. How to learn more about XML?
XML.
Yeah, sir. You use there, right?
No, I used JSON format. You okay? Can you tell exactly what XML you want to know?
So like to build the app a face like front end like a website, we build a front end. So to build a app
Okay.
front end we use yes.
Okay. So app front end UI part, right? So nowadays, Angular Node.js is the one of the best technologies that you can learn to create UI part. So I have been understanding from my friends that they are using the Node.js as both front end and a back end. So you people can definitely start with that JavaScript. You can start with and slowly can move on to Node.js. Okay, Angular platform, all these things you can use to create a UI. Okay, and even backend also Node.js and JavaScript you can write code in the backend also. But again, depends on your requirement.
So we can't use Java only.
Java also you can use. I just told Node.js because nowadays the UI has become a very fancy thing. Okay, you get a lot of places. Each technology, Java, be it Java, .NET, or C, C++, they all have their own advantages. Now, you want to create a simple UI application, definitely Java is a very good thing. Okay, you want to go for some fancy things, uh, upgrade your programming technology. That's it. Java also you can do a very nice UI. That is for sure. So when we do for a banking application or a healthcare, right? There, no one will be looking for a fancy UI. Okay, suppose if you go to any uh, car showrooms UI, if you open or any other UI open, you see many widgets and all. Everything will be popping up. Okay, I think that is quite easy to develop using Node.js than Java. I hope I answered. Java also can use. I just told that usually nowadays fancy UIs are being used. So I told Node.js.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other things? Yeah, I will. Even I had to go through this ThinkSpeak. I have not seen it extensively. I had heard about it. Definitely, Dr. Sureka, I will go through it
Yes,
once.
yes, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Any other questions, students? Yes, I think if you don't have any questions, I think we can end the session for today. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, I
Okay.
think tomorrow morning we will be joining at 9:30 exactly. And can
Yeah.
you just briefly tell the students what you're going to cover in tomorrow's session?
Tomorrow's session, the IoT platform in different industries. Okay.
Yes, yes, a very
So
interesting part, I think.
yeah,
Which, yeah.
currently there are many different technologies, out of which I am taking one example, automobile industry, and then the other one would be the smart cities. How the IoT is being playing there, and how there are so many startup companies are coming up with new ideas. So the idea would be to explore few of them, so that if few people have some new ideas, okay, idea can come from anywhere. So if you people have anything like that, so definitely you can think of exploring more and developing it.
Yes, very good, Rohit. Tomorrow, 9:30, shall we meet?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rohit. Take
Yeah,
care.
thank you.
Yeah,
Bye,
students,
guys.
wait for 5 minutes. I'll just take the attendance. Rohit, you can, yeah, wait for 2 minutes. I'll take the attendance. Mm, yeah, I'll just all the USNs. 416, CS 416, 414,
Present, ma'am.
EC 26,
Present, ma'am.
P 23, T 47, T 43, T 38,
Present, ma'am.
T 18, T 61, T IS 79. So one more thing, students. After this session, we will share a Google this thing questionnaire quiz format. So just give
Oh,
the
ma'am.
permission. Yes.
This Kuwait the side, ma'am. I forgot to tell.
Yes. What's your reason?
23, ma'am. It's in the start.
No, which branch?
Telecommunication.
23. Okay. Okay, just I'll share the Sridhar sir will share the quiz form. Please, all of you enter the quiz form. Okay.
Ma'am,
After this
ISN.
session. Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
USN. IS
Ma'am,
20.
IS 35.
Now you joined, Mukteshwar?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am,
I
28, ma'am.
C62.
Yes,
62, ma'am.
28, ma'am. 28, ma'am.
62. 22, I have not called it. Wait.
What about 20?
35.
Ma'am, IS 35 present, ma'am.
Yeah. 407. IS 407.
Present, ma'am.
ME 004.
Present, ma'am.
IS 15. 15. IS 112.
Present, ma'am.
IS 117.
Present, ma'am.
ME 16. EC 48.
Present, ma'am.
IS 005.
Present, ma'am.
CS 419.
Present, ma'am.
CS 416.
Present, ma'am.
CS 407. CS 408. IS 47.
Present, ma'am.
CS 405.
Present, ma'am.
IS 28.
Present,
All
ma'am.
typals.
CS 173. IS 110. CS 104.
Present, ma'am.
EC 136.
Present, ma'am.
IS 144. IS 42.
Present, ma'am.
IS 10.
Present, ma'am.
EEE 60. IS 58. IS 406.
Present, ma'am.
Yeah, EEE 53. EC 45. IS 404.
Present, ma'am.
IS 411. IS 62.
Present, ma'am.
IS 153. IS 67. IS 94. Okay, thank you.
Ma'am,
Tomorrow. Yes.
ma'am, TC 43. I just lost my connection, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. TC 43. Okay.
Ma'am, IS 15.
IS 15. Okay. Then,
Ma'am, can you share today's recording?
yeah. Sridhar sir will immediately now only will share in the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.